Welcome to Danimal's House, everyone. Today's episode, we're going to take a look at how I modified the stock exhaust on a 2022 Ford F-150 Lariat with the Coyote 5.0 V8 engine. Let's get going. So here's what we're going to do today. We're going to go through the process. I'm going to show you some pictures, some video of how I took the stock exhaust off of this Ford F-150. So the truck is a couple weeks old. I got it I got 1,500 miles on it total. And basically it does have the 5-liter engine, and it does sound, it actually, compared to the Chevys, I kind of thought it did sound all right stock. But I did want a little bit more of a lower tone when I'm at idle, and I wanted just a little bit more of a sense of the fact that I'm driving a pickup truck with some horses under the hood. So basically what I chose to do is I chose to take the muffler off behind the catalytic converter, and I found a Flowmaster Super HP, I believe HP stands for Hush Power muffler, and that had 2.5-inch connections in and out. I had to modify that a little bit. We're going to talk about that. And then in the end, we had it all welded up, put it back on, and I really like how it sounds. So we're going to take you through the process. All right, so now that thing is off. It's just resting on that jack stand. And what I got to do is I got to turn this. There's like a knob on the top. All right, guys, so here's a look at the way this is set up here. There's like a little notch on the top, and then there's a rivet on the other pipe. And you have to kind of lock that in place. So when you're trying to take the exhaust off, you can't go straight out with it. You have to turn it so that that little rivet goes in the straight line, and then if you wiggle, then the thing will pop out of there. So I'm going to start this thing up and see what it sounds like without any muffler on it. So this is what that muffler section looks like that detaches. It's actually really convenient. I was thinking I was going to have to sawzall or grind this muffler off. And this is a look at that rivet that I was talking about that has to go in that little turn section. So I'm going to work on getting the hangers broke loose. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this off right here. This is 3-inch right here. And then I'm going to run a little section of 3-inch pipe to the new Flowmaster. And then I got some 304 stainless adapters that are going to convert me back. So basically this is 3-inch right here that goes back to the rear, and then this section right here is 2 3/4 outside diameter. So I think I'll probably end up having to cut it somewhere around here, and then I'm going to try to reuse, if I can, these hangers here. I'll see if I can make that happen. All right. So I got this thing dry fit right here, And I don't have to mark this one because that one's got that little rivet in there. And I think that turned all the way, okay. And then otherwise I'm just lining it up in the back. So back here, I set this up where if I bring these two together like this, that should be just right here. And so I mark those, so when we're at the welder, if it gets nicked around or whatever, we know where our home is. I want to make sure that both the muffler is straight and then also my mounts are straight. And then I got to make sure that in the back, that tailpipe that's sticking out, I don't want that to be pointing down or anything like that. So I got to make sure those angles are right. So, and then I put a little piece of tin tape on there to keep that from turning. And then up here as well. And so hopefully once I drop it off, the welder can do it up right. And then I can just connect it and fire it up and we should be ready to go. All right, so I got the exhaust back from the welder. Looks really good. We got our support brackets on there, and they're basically, I didn't have to bend them at all. We figured out all the math to make it right so that we can use those hangers. And so we're looking at the stock pieces right here. It's basically goes all the way to about here. This adapter goes from 2.75 to 2.5, which is what's on the muffler. And then he welded a little band on there to strengthen that because the wall of the reducing adapter was pretty thin. So this is all 304 stainless steel, all welded. He used a TIG welder. This was just kind of like a farm mechanic that's from the area that had a TIG weld situation in his shed. So we matched the width of the old muffler, and then on this side we went from the 2.5 on the muffler up to 3-inch, and again he used that little band. He did a great job with the welding. This adapter, or this hanger here, is unchanged. That actually attached onto this pipe, and this is where it went to the old muffler, and I just left that alone because if I ever need to go back to the old muffler, all that stuff should all be right in place. I can just match up the welds and tack it. So we're gonna put it on and we're gonna see what happens. All right, so here we are, it fits. So one thing I will say is we got that little knob, and I don't think that's perfectly tight. I think it's probably like a 1/4 inch off. So in all of our fittings, we did miss it by about a 1/4 inch. But between the 3 hangers and this clamp being clamped very securely, I think I'm going to go with it, and I'm going to hope that the thing's not going to twist over time. So we hit this hanger. Thankfully, we hit this hanger right on. That was kind of a wild type action here where you have this connection and there's a lot of open space there to go wrong. So that turned out really nice, and we got the Flowmaster mounted down. We've got our connections back here. That hanger was untouched, so I knew I was going to hit that. The one in the back there, we're good. And then going out the back, we are normal, just like stock. So it is pretty close to time to fire this thing up. All right, so we're in the cab here, so I'm not sure how well it's going to actually come across. I mean, this is a microphone that's really designed to pick up my voice. It's not like a omnidirectional that's meant to pick up like a band or something like that. But we'll see once how it goes. So as far as how I decided which muffler to get, I really used a lot of YouTube videos. So, I mean, my thought is the next person that's looking to see what this Flowmaster Super HP looks like or sounds like, they're gonna maybe watch this video. So as far as internal drone, I wanted it to be as little as possible because I want to be comfortable and have conversations in the vehicle. But I wanted to hear a combination of the engine and the exhaust, and it definitely accomplishes that. I would say I can still hear the engine pretty solid on an acceleration, but I can hear the background. As far as drone goes, I would say there's a positive amount of drone, meaning there is some drone. You can tell it's an aftermarket exhaust, but it's not so crazy that, you know, you're sitting here and, you know, you got to crank the radio, or you've got to, you know, talk really loud, or people are annoyed with you that it's just too loud in your truck. So it's definitely louder than factory, but I was looking for like a low hum to it. I was looking for a little bit of extra energy when you're accelerating, and I would say the Super HP hits that right on. So there's definitely not a lot of rasp. So let's get this thing started. Let's see what we can do. So again, I don't know if you heard that, but I can hear the engine up front. I can hear the back. It's definitely got some firmness to it. The tone drops when you put it in gear, or if you're on idle, the tone really drops and goes down. When you take off, in my opinion, is when you take off gently, it's actually louder than if you gun it. If you gun it, it's kind of like you hear the engine itself, not so much the exhaust. So I'm just gonna go here under normal conditions. I'll just take a gentle acceleration. I don't know if you're picking that up, but as soon as it shifts and it drops the RPM, the tone actually becomes more aggressive. And so then when I give her and I'm up like in at 3,000 or 4,000 RPMs, I don't really hear the exhaust all that much. I suppose outside maybe you do, but I don't really hear that low tone. So basically it's right on. There's one thing I'm gonna add here. Cylinder deactivation really sucks with an aftermarket exhaust. So with the Ford F-150s, they added cylinder deactivation. I'm not really sure when or, you know, at what year they did that. But when your engine is barely under a load, it drops off a group of cylinders. And with an aftermarket exhaust, you hear that and it sounds awful. So if you're going to put a aftermarket exhaust on an F-150 with a 5.0 Coyote, plan on getting it tuned so that you can disable that cylinder deactivation. That's one of the things I kind of found out the hard way. Now, luckily, I didn't pay somebody to do the install here, so I probably saved $300 to $500 by doing most of this work on this myself. So that's pretty much going to get eaten up by the tuning process. So anyway, that's about all I've got for in the cab. I think maybe I'll come back real quick and we'll gun it. We'll see what that sounds like. We're at a dead stop here. I'm going to accelerate pretty quickly, get up to the speed limit here. And again, I'm not sure how much you're going to hear, but here we go. And we're up to speed here. But basically, there's a tiny bit of rasp, if any. I can hear a combination of the engine and so now listen to that. I don't know if you heard that. There was a real low tone there. That's because it went to cylinder deactivation. So anyway, that's about all I've got for the cab. I give this thing a thumbs up. If anything, I would say if I had to choose, I'd want it like, I don't know, 15% quieter still yet. But, you know, you're talking to a guy that's drives his wife around in and out of parking lots, picking up kids from school. And it's not always that cool to like have the loudest truck in the parking lot. I mean, I'm not a farmer. I'm not like a truck guru. So if that's kind of fits what you're after, Super HP would be a good option. All right, so I hope you enjoyed the project here of converting this F-150 to a Flowmaster Super HP muffler. I really enjoy the sound. It's really low toned on idle. I'm not sure how well it comes across on the cameras or your audio system, but basically at idle, when you're at like 600 RPMs, the thing has a beautiful low, like just rumble to it, lum, 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 that kind of thing. And that's exactly what I was looking for. It's a little loud on the startup, but we like it, and I hope you enjoyed the episode here. If you liked it, go ahead and click. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. Otherwise, I'll see you on the next episode of Danimal's House.